Oh, this is the book of every person whose votes weren't counted in Franklin County. About 70% of them, of course, are from the Democratic city of Columbus. Nearly 1,600 people waited in a line who supposedly weren't registered to vote. We did surveys, and the vast majority of them can remember the time and place where they registered to vote. So see, it says not registered, no vote. But supposedly all these people waited in line, in some cases 4 to 7 hours, in the inner city, and it says that they weren't registered to vote. But most of those people say, yes, we registered to vote. And you've got tens of thousands of lost registrations, particularly in areas like Cleveland. So if you go back farther, you can get almost every category of how people voted in wrong precinct. In the presidential primary and for decades prior, all of these votes would have counted from the county if you were registered in the county. So what Blackwell did is actually change the precincts in many cases and then said, even if you were in the right polling place but at the wrong table, so people would wait 3-4 hours up to 7 hours, and then they would be told they had to go to the next table because you had multi precincts. So if they wouldn't count their votes. But historically, these votes would have been counted in Ohio. So there was a systematic attempt to disenfranchise voters throughout the state of Ohio. And this is one of my favorite, right? These people actually showed up. They were in the right precinct, but the poll worker gave them a provisional ballot, and so in precinct, but must use voting machine. So you show up at your right precinct, you're registered to vote, and there's like 356 of these people, and Blackwell says, because you showed up at the right precinct and his poll worker messed up, your vote doesn't count. And of course he'll go out and say he's just like Gandhi and King. He calls it a model election. The question is, a model for what? Voter disenfranchisement, authoritarianism, all these people, right? In precinct, must use voting machine. In precinct, must use voting machine. All of these people did nothing wrong, showed up at the right precinct, and J. Kenneth Blackwell refused to count their votes. And then you go right here, 356 people, all in the right precinct, were given a ballot wrongly by a Blackwell election worker, and because they didn't vote on the machine, and again, it's not like voters bring in a ballot with them. 356 of them didn't get their votes counted, even though no fault of their own. And Blackwell calls that democracy. Absolutely unacceptable that you would take away people's right to vote. Absolutely unacceptable that it's not a bigger issue in this campaign. And there, of course, Palace Armed Madhouse, new book out. But you can go through these counties all the time. You can see when we ask for, I love Lorain County Board of Elections. See, we asked for a Board of Elections. One county sent this to us on disc and charged us $3.31. When we asked Lorain County, they told us it would cost at least $3,477.95, and there'd be additional cost of at least another $1,000, and that we would have to pay the $3,477.95% upfront before they would let us look at any ballots. So we weren't even asking for the copies of the ballots. We could have brought in our own copier. But this is an attempt to hide the ballots from the election, because they know that we're doing detailed analysis of who is being challenged. Here's a report that's coming out of our book from Dr. Richard Hayes Phillips. It goes into, this is from Lucas County, right? I can tell right here from the numbers. Look, these are the people that were challenged at the polls. Racist challenging of black and poor people. Like 810 people were challenged over by Republicans. They were the only ones challenging in Toledo. Only 120 people were challenged in the suburbs. Even better, note that if you go down here, these are the black wards. So if you take a look at the heavily black wards, the 441 challenges were in the 6 African American wards. That's 40% of all the people challenged were challenged in the black wards. That's racist. People don't want to talk about it in Ohio. They don't want to talk that we have actual data. Most of the people who look at the election results aren't looking at the actual data that we're analyzing day or night, which shows the actual results. So that's part of our operation here, and we should have a book out this fall on the New Press, which goes into precinct by precinct analysis of how this election was stolen by J. Kenneth Blackwell and the Bush family.
Thank you for watching CBTV, Cincinnati Beacon Television.